Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome to the show. So glad you could take the time and join us. We have, as always, a show I think you'll find of great interest. And it's a topic that we don't talk enough about, and that's just talking about our towns and planning and, you know, what are the driving forces, the economies behind all that. So you stick around. My guest is waiting to come on, and we're going to dig deep into that topic here. Well, I hope you're doing well today. We've had a crazy week of weather, isn't it? Justin, did you know that we officially have 5 seasons in Chautauqua County now? You got your spring, you got summer, fall, winter, and monsoon. That's unbelievable. I don't know where all this rain's coming from, huh? I think it's coming up because of that hurricane or tropical storm down in Florida. I'm not sure, but I looked at the weather report coming up for next week. I think we're going to get a little more rain. Hopefully not too much more. Okay, well, for those of you that are visiting Chautauqua County, we want to welcome you to our beautiful county. Hope you're enjoying all that we have to offer. It's just a great place to be, and if you are just joining us for the first time, welcome. We are streaming around the world, as many of you know, and people say, what do you mean streaming? We're live. Anybody on Facebook right now could be watching us, and I can see if I can do this. I'm always backwards in the camera. Right behind me here is a map of the world, and we do track people who check in with us and leaves a little note or say hi. And anywhere from Thailand to Turkey to London to the Netherlands, across the United States. So glad you could join us. Good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. Thanks for joining us Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Welcome you as well. I want to remind you also that if you are just catching part of the show this morning and you got things to do, I get it. But you also can finish watching the show or watch it over and over again in 2 different ways. You can go to channel 1301 on Spectrum, and we are on at 2 and 8 every day of the week. And then also you can find us forever and ever, or as long as it stays up on the internet, on YouTube. We have 365 shows out there. Seems hard to believe, but we do. Okay, so happy to provide you that information. I think a lot of times I encourage people to go back and look at a show, especially if it's of great interest to you, because sometimes there's a phone number there, and sometimes there's a piece of information, and people they do check it. So please do that. Today is also a live show in the sense that you can give us a call. You can call us at 716-753-5225. You can email us, you can Twitter us, you can do whatever you want. You get a hold of us, you can stop by the studio. If your club or organization has an announcement, a special activity, a fundraiser, give us that information. We'll be happy to share it. People are finally coming out of this pandemic funk, and we are getting outside more, and we're doing more again. Back to many of the things that we have always done, and we're happy to share that free of charge. Now, if you're shy and you don't want to talk to me, I'm kind of a nice guy. I won't yell at you or anything like that. But you can talk to Randy, who picks up the phone. He'll take down the message, and they'll bring it over here to me as we've done in the past. Okay? So give us a call. I want to also remind you that since we're coming out of this pandemic mode, that there's really cool things going on. For instance, this morning there's a farmer's market in Westfield. There's one in Jamestown. Man, fresh grown local vegetables and fruits and all that sort of thing. Baked goods, things that people make, handicrafts and things like that. Just a great opportunity to get out there and buy some things and support our local vendors. Also, thing that I think a lot of people missed was live music during that whole pandemic time. We've talked about this a little bit, but check your local establishments. A lot of places have live music again. Some of it's just outside, and some of it's still a little bit protected. But the music scene it's starting to thrive again, which I want to tell you that this Thursday, July 15th, from 6:30 to 8:30, I'll be joining the Growlers, and we're going to be playing at Cherry Creek Pavilion outdoors. And if it rains, imagine that, we're going to be at the community center. So a shout out to the Cherry Creek folks. We're going to be coming out your way this Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30. All right, let's see. Anything else I want to talk about? I don't think so. I have some announcements to share with you, and then we'll take a little breather. Okay, our friends at Infinity. Here we go. Infinity's Pearl City Clay House, and we've had them on the show before, will offer a menu of fun classes geared towards community members of all ages throughout the month of July. Whether you're an experienced artist or are looking to dive into a new hobby, Pearl City Clay House will help you find your creative spirit. Okay, these are upcoming classes, so if you're interested, especially in the summertime, this is kind of a fun thing to do. Paper Flowers pop-up at Art Cloth and Craft with Deborah Eck on July 10th. Let me say it again because it's kind of an odd title. Paper Flowers pop-up at Art Cloth and Craft with Deborah Eck. That's July 10th. Blackout Meditation. Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. I got to make sure I say this right. Blackout Mediation workshops. Virtual with Deborah Eck on July 12th and July 19th. I don't know what that means. Mediation, blackout mediation. Paper making with plants pop-up at the Audubon Community Nature Center with Deborah Eck on July 17th. Okay, here we go, Justin. Lots of alliteration here. Funky Felted Fish. I like that one. With guest artist Debbie Penley on July 23rd. Oh no. Bibliomaniacs. Oh man, why do they do this to me in the morning? Bibliomaniacs virtual meetup for book binders, paper lovers, and mixed media artists with Deborah Eck on July 26th. This is as hard as it looks, guys. Let me say that one more time. I can't even imagine who comes up with these things. Bibliomaniacs virtual meetup for book binders, paper lovers, and mixed media artists with Deborah Eck on July 26th. You guys make me laugh. For more information, including dates and times, and more detailed descriptions of classes, please visit the Pearl City Clayhouse website at pearlcityclayhouse.org or give Infinity a call at 716-664-0991. I don't think it makes any difference what time of day, Justin. I think I still stumble on that. All right, what's Infinity all about? Infinity is a music and arts education performing arts center that offers private lessons, group classes, and an array of arts experiences and performance opportunities within 5 pillars of the arts: music, art, dance, theater, and performance. Infinity offers something for all ages and experience levels. You can join them through explore, experience, and excel in all the arts. Again, give them a call, 664-0991. All right, so let's continue on. Hopefully this will be easier to say. Prevention works. They send us a lot of stuff for you, for a lot of classes. Triple P, Positive Parenting Program. Triple P is a great opportunity to meet other parents in similar situations, other parents who will support you and share stories just like yours. They're now offering in-person classes. Now, here are the topics. Okay, parents, for those of us that are past child rearing, we'll laugh at these, but these are good ones for folks that are still working with kiddos at home. July 13th and 14th, Managing Fighting and Aggression. July 27th and 28th, Hassle-Free Shopping with Children. August 3rd and 4th, Developing Good Bedtime Routines. Okay, it's virtual with the organization at Prevention Works from 2 to 4 p.m., and it's in person from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Each discussion group can be taken as a standalone session or as part of a series. If you need assistance with registration, give Amy Beto a call at 366-4623, and that's up in Dunkirk. Again, 366-4623. All right, stuff to do. This is from the Chamber Corner. Let's see here. The Chamber of Commerce is proud to be partnering with a number of organizations to encourage more people to sample all of the great offerings in downtown Jamestown, especially on Saturdays. We invite one and all to make downtown Jamestown your destination each Saturday this summer. We are collaborating with the Jamestown Public Market, National Comedy Center, Northwest Arena, Reg Linnaeus Center for the Arts, and Jamestown Renaissance Corporation on downtown summer Saturdays. With all that is already scheduled, and our goal is to promote the multitude of programs and events as we encourage downtown shopping and dining as part of the tremendous mix of things to do and see. Just like I've been saying, the Jamestown Public Market is on 3rd Street between North Main and Cherry Streets. They close it off from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This Saturday today. The market will feature live musical entertainment from Deep Fried and Dipped in Honey, starting at 11 a.m. I know those guys. Also be sure to take the kids to Sprouts Tent to enjoy a scavenger hunt and other activities. You can also check out the bumper cars or public skating at Northwest Arena from 12:30 to 2:30. Justin, you done the bumper cars?
Not in a long time.
Not in a long time. That sounds like fun. You can try yoga with the birds from 9 to 10 a.m. at the Roger Tory Peterson Institute. I guess that's going on right now. Or community yoga at 10:30 at the Comedy Center. The Robert Jackson Center offers free guided tours from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The James Prendergast Library is open from 10 to 4. The Fenton Historical Center offers Jamestown walking tours, 10 a.m. on July 10 and 24. Wow, the Audubon Community Nature offers Audubon Saturdays programming July 10, 24, and 31. Between all these great offerings, you can shop and dine at numerous downtown restaurants, gift shops, and retail stores. Whew! Then close out your fun-filled day with Riverside Saturdays at the National Comedy Center, offering free outdoor entertainment starting at 7 p.m. And outdoor movies at 8:45. I am jealous. There's a lot going on over that way. Okay? That's just a little sample of what's happening. If you want more information, go to the Chautauqua County Visitors Bureau at tourchautauqua.com. Again, tourchautauqua, all one word, .com. And you're going to find out everything that's going on in Dunkirk, Fredonia, Hanover, Mayville, Chautauqua, Westfield, Barcelona, and all the other areas in Chautauqua County. The Chamber covers it all. All right, and the last one. Nope, we got more coming up. This is a mark your calendar, July 31st. They have this every year. It's the annual Silver Creek Yard Sale for all of you yard sailors. July 31. The Hanover Community Chamber of Commerce will once again hold its annual Silver Creek Yard Sale on Saturday, July 31. The sales are a fundraiser for the Hanover Community Chamber, assisting them with year-round events, including scholarships for graduating high school seniors from the Silver Creek and Forestville school districts. Residents may sign up to participate for only $10 per sale, so that would be your little area. Registration is now in person at Silver Creek Optical or online on the Chamber's calendar at chautauquachamber.org. All registrations must be in by July 26th, and maps will be sold the morning of the sales. So if you're interested, get on the map and people will come to your spot. All right, there's a couple more to go. Let's see, what's this one? Prevention Works again is hosting a Chevette's Chicken Barbecue fundraising event. When? July 21st. It's a Wednesday from 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And come on down to the Chautauqua Mall in Lakewood, New York for Western New York's famous Chevette's chicken. $12 per dinner. It includes a half a chicken, 2 sides, and a roll with butter. Pickup only. Justin, you don't have to cook that night. All proceeds help support Prevention Works, including our mission to build a safe and healthy environment by effectively educating community on positive life choices. For more information, give them a call at 664-3608. And finally, I'm going to ad-lib this one. As we speak, they are setting up at the Westfield Farmers Market, and my Rotary Club, the Westfield Mayville Rotary Club, is selling raffle tickets to win this really cool package. There's what they call Coleman chairs. There's a 6-person tent. There's some sleeping bags, headlights, a Yeti cooler, and some sticks, I guess you use for like hot dogs and things like that. It's a $535 package. Tickets are only $5 a piece, or $5 for $20. The drawing is going to be at 1:45 this afternoon, I've been told. I will be there selling tickets, so if you want to come by and say hi, I'll be there from 11 till they draw the tickets. So anyways, that's happening right now at the Westfield Farmers Market. That's all I got for now, so we're going to take a little breather, so stick around, and we'll be right back.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job.
I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working.
I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
And there you go. People might think, where do we get these public service announcements? We get them from different organizations, not-for-profits, and we like to just kind of send them out to you as a reminder. Okay, so I mentioned that we're going to talk about economics. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about what drives towns and economies in our area. Oh, very exciting stuff. It is, because if you don't understand that, your town will dry up and blow away, as we've seen many times in these little communities. Thriving communities have great people behind them that are planning and driving and getting people to rally, and one of those people is my guest today, is Don McCord. He's the Executive Director of the Westfield Development Corporation, otherwise known as the WDC, as I'm told over and over again when I talk to my friends. Yes. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Don.
How's that for an introduction? Can you live up to
great.
it?
No.
You can surpass it, I'm sure. At least you don't have to say bibliomaniacs. Oh my gosh. Those tongue twisters in those announcements are crazy. Don, I was thinking, I don't even know how long I've known you. It seems like a long time.
It does seem
I don't even know where we first met. I don't know if it was through one of the boards I was on, or I know I was on the county planning board, but I mean, I think I knew you before that. I don't know. It's just we've crossed paths. So just great to have you on the show. And this is your first time.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been on TV before?
No.
They've kept you hidden.
I'm a behind-the-scenes guy.
Well, we're going to bring you out now, and we're going to talk about the good work that you've done and so forth. One of the things I like to do when I have my guests on for the very first time is tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how'd you get here?
Well, originally I was from the Hudson Valley. I grew up on a farm near New Paltz, New York. But I had a sister who lived in northeast Pennsylvania, and I moved out here to Westfield way back in 1975. And it's been home ever since.
You know, we kind of parallel that. I came to the county in January '74, so we're kind of moved at the same time. Northeast Pennsylvania, what was your sister doing there?
She was a professor at Mercyhurst.
Really? I didn't know that. All right. So you lived on a farm. What kind of a farm?
It was a combination of dairy farm and an apple farm. We had 30 acres of apples and grew around 12 acres of vegetables as well.
So not very unlike around here. Yeah, people are still have dairy farms, and certainly along where we live in the fruit belt there along Lake Erie, there's a lot of apple trees and fruit trees still going. So that's pretty cool. Now you still have family back there?
Actually, I just have a few cousins and my brothers and sisters. I come from a large family of 6.
Really?
So they're spread out pretty much across the country.
Okay. So what brought you to Chautauqua County in '75?
Well, at that time, I was a little bit on my own at a very early age. And my sister picked up the phone and said, "Would you like to come out here?" And like a young, impulsive person, I said, "Oh, sure."
Sure.
And so I came out here, and I think the thing that's kept me out here is this is very much like the area that I grew up in.
It sounds like it, yeah.
You know, the area that I grew up in is very much developed compared to where we are now.
So you come from New Paltz, off a farm to northeast Pennsylvania?
Actually, I was a senior in high school,
Okay.
and I wanted to graduate with my Regents diploma. So I had room and board with a math teacher in Westfield,
Okay.
and lived in Westfield and finished out my schooling here. Graduated from Westfield.
These are things I never knew about you. I did not know that. All right, so you graduate from high school, then what happens?
I went to Fredonia for engineering for a year. Ran out of money because I was self-funded. Kind of went on the road for a little bit and was eventually drawn back to Westfield because I took a job at Welch Foods. And at that time, when minimum wage is $1.81,
Yeah,
Welch Foods looked pretty good.
pretty good. So how long were you with them?
Around 8 years.
Really? What'd you do there?
I did, like everyone does, a wide variety of factory floor jobs and
Kind of just worked your way through
worked
there?
your way through.
Okay, so there you're in manufacturing with the Welch's, and so then what happens?
Welch's goes away.
Yeah.
The plant was downsized. Times were tough in the early 80s. There were very few jobs around.
Right.
But there was a job with the Village of Westfield on their street department. So I was a street sweeper for several years.
I'm sitting here and I absolute what? I didn't know. You had mentioned something about knowing streets one time, and I didn't know that you actually were on the street. Okay, then what?
Well, I went back to college while I was working for the street department.
Okay.
I was the guy that sometimes was on the roller with a textbook between his knees, so as an equipment operator. And I graduated from Fredonia with a degree in business, and then obtained a job with Chautauqua County.
And that was with the planning department. What does the planning department do?
Planning department does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
That was the interesting thing about planning. You never became bored because you were always tackling a new challenge.
And that's a program funded through the county and the state, federal. Where the funds for that come from?
The county was almost 100% of the funding. Occasionally there were grants. Matter of fact, when I first started, it was with a HUD grant.
Okay.
I was managing 9 programs at the time.
Wow. So you go from working with the streets department to a white-collar job. That must have been a bit of a shock.
It was. I wasn't used to having people do things for me. Like
Yeah.
ask you, Mr. McCord, would you like a cup of coffee? It's like, I'm used to doing
I
all
had
this
a- I-
myself.
when I became a building administrator, I asked my secretary to come in one day, and she says, "Do you realize you've been here 6 months and this is the first time you've asked me to come into your office?" I go, I didn't know how to be an administrator. I didn't know how that all worked. So it's funny you said that. Okay. So how long were you with the planning department?
22 years.
Oh my gosh. Well, and that's where I know you, because I was, as I said, on the Chautauqua County Planning Board, and you were the senior planner at that time, I believe. And it seemed like you had a real good feel of the pulse of Chautauqua County when it came to what was happening in each of the villages and the towns and that. So it was a pretty comprehensive position.
It was, but that's the part I enjoyed about it. You got to go out and be with the communities and meet people and learn about them, begin to understand the communities a little bit better.
And somewhere along the line, you got married and had a family. And I know your wife, because actually she worked with me, or I worked with her, I guess probably the better way to look at it, for about 6 months when I was the interim principal over at Westfield. Had a good time there. And you said you have some children?
Yeah, Judy and I is my wife, and we have Joshua and Emily.
And what are they doing now?
Josh is working on becoming a phys ed teacher.
Isn't that a good word? Working.
Yeah, he has one more year to go.
Good for him.
And he's coaching soccer this fall
Super.
at Westfield.
And your daughter?
Emily received a degree in psychology, and she's back with us. She was in the Albany area for a few years. And
Okay.
she's going to be going back to grad school.
Great, great. So they're kind of transitioning into their own lives. That's fun to watch the kids grow up.
Oh, it is.
I have a handful myself, and they're every few years there's a new change in that, and so it's cool. Makes Mama crazy. I kind of find it entertaining. We digress. So, well, thanks for sharing all that. I didn't know that about you. That's really cool. But now you've got a new job, or a new position, or a new something. What do we call it?
It's a new job.
All
It's
right,
a new
new
position.
job. Okay, so you retired from the county, and now you took on something else, and it's called the Executive Director of the Westfield Development Corporation. So, what's the elevator speech? What is the Westfield Development Corporation?
Well, the Westfield Development Corporation's been around a really long time. It was formed in 1962 as a trade organization, a nonprofit. But in 1994, when a lot of communities were forming local development corporations, the incorporation papers were modified and changed. We have to give credit to a lot of people like Rose Whiteman and Dick Davies.
I knew Dick.
Yeah, they were. That's the thing about the community and where we are in Westfield is a lot of people over the years have invested a lot, of time and energy to
John Rollinson, I knew.
John Rollinson.
Pam Frank, you mentioned before. I've known all those people. Yeah, very cool.
So, so the Westfield Development Corporation is now a local development corp, and we work behind the scenes with all of our partners, both regional and local, to try to facilitate prosperity and economic development in Westfield, in the Westfield area, while still maintaining the character and the quality of life that we've all come to know and love in Westfield.
I do a big sigh, because over the years, like yourself, I watched various communities struggle with that, maintaining that character of life, because some people don't want to change a bit. Other people say if we don't move, if we don't move, we're standing still. If we stand still, we're falling behind, and we're deteriorating from the inside out. What is there any magic to that? How do you? Who decides? Who decides what you maintain and what you get rid of? I mean, to me, that's a really difficult question for a community.
Yeah. Well, from a planner's perspective, from my past history, what I would say is the community decides. But that means that you have to have community dialogue.
Yeah.
Which usually doesn't happen on a mass scale. I mean, small conversations, coffee shop conversations happen, but on a broader scale where you come to any agreement or consensus, doesn't happen without some type of planning process. And that's probably the most valuable part of anything that we call a planning process, is the fact that we finally set something up where people sit down and talk about where they want to go.
And hopefully they're not doing it on YouTube or Facebook.
Right.
You know, I've enjoyed social media, but it's really destroyed a lot of relationships with people. And this sounds to me like something that's actually the opposite, where you're bringing people together to you know, come together on an idea. Many people probably listening right now have said, well, we've done that before. What's new about that? We sat in meetings and we came up with this big document, and now it's a doorstop, or nobody ever did anything with it because the folks that were in office or in charge, they've moved on. I mean, what's your comment to that?
Well, a plan is really just writing down what the community agreed upon, and it does provide a document that becomes institutional. So if there is a change in an administration or something, there's at least something for everyone to refer back to say, well, this is what we agreed on.
In this year, this is where we were at.
Right.
I know this is going to seem like a simple question, but I really do mean it. What do you define community?
Oh, well, that's not a simple question. Actually,
Oh, it was real easy for me.
you know,
but I struggle with that.
You know, I'm older now. I've retired, but that's still an evolving thought process in my own mind. I know that a few years ago we went to an AARP sponsored a workshop in Buffalo, New York, on livable communities. That's the program that they're promoting, and it was really kind of eye-opening because I came back to the county planning board and asked the members, when we all say, well, community or quality of life,
Right,
you know,
right.
it's like this thing that rolls off your tongue so easily.
Yeah, it's easy.
But I said, well, what does that mean to you?
Okay.
And what's important? And I think it was eye-opening with some of the answers. There are things like access to a pharmacy. Can I get to a hospital? You know, and it depended, the answers were different depending on what stage of life you were
There you
in.
go, right.
So community, you know, quite often would mean something different to different people. But I think the AARP Livable Communities is a great tool. They have a livability index for each community. You can put your zip code in, and it will give you a number, and you can drill down to see what that basis is. And community really is about people. And I think one of the questions you had mentioned to me when you invited me on the show is like, well, can any of these successes sometimes be translated? You know, if it's working here, can you do it there?
Yeah.
And thinking about that, you know, I'm a farm kid, so I'm a gardener. And I would have to say that you have to think of a community as a living organism, is this ecosystem, and it's a lot like a garden. And every community has unique assets, every community has unique challenges, a little bit like my garden right now has some pretty good soil where I grow, but not everybody's going to have the same soil.
Right.
You won't have the same amount of sunlight, you may not get the same amount of rain, but it doesn't mean that you can't grow a garden or that you don't have a garden. It just means that you might get different results.
It may look different.
It may look different.
Yeah. Interesting. I know that over the years, I was one of those people that sat in a lot of these committees and things like that, and we wanted to make sure that we were getting representation from all sectors of the community. You know, young folks, old folks, the middle-aged folks, the businesses, and so forth. Is that what you're about with this Westfield Development Corporation?
From my perspective, yes. You know, a local development corp, as I see it, is really an opportunity to bring two things together. It's the intersection in between economic development and community development. And so a lot of what we do behind the scenes is we try to facilitate that. While we're trying to support local businesses or attract new businesses. We're also trying to make sure that the community is vibrant and it's a place that people are going to want to come to, a place that a business will want to come to, that workers will feel like this is a good place for me to go and work. Anyway, so doing that, it's not just the Westfield Development Corp. I mean, there are so many institutional partners in Westfield that we need to work with behind the scenes and build relationships with: the chamber, the library, the hospital, the school, the Rotary. And you know, I mean, as you know, the Rotary has offered to paint the gazebo.
Yes, I'll be there with a brush.
Yes, and you know, that seems like such a simple thing, but that's such an important thing to have them involved.
Take ownership,
And
and take pride. You mentioned other local development corporations. Are there others in Chautauqua County?
You know,
I've never heard of any others.
when
Well, maybe Jamestown, or Dunker, but your smaller communities.
you might dig deep. You know, it's the 90s, and some of these are being formed, and it's trendy.
Yeah.
I believe there's one in Ripley. I know there's one in Brockton. I know there's one in Mayville. But now, are they active?
Right.
Is another question. They were formed and they were active, but
Okay. People, I try to think who's looking at the other side of the camera now as we're talking, and you mentioned the Chamber of Commerce. So, Chamber of Commerce does some of this stuff, doesn't it? Or what makes the difference between the Chamber of Commerce and what you guys do?
Well, you know, we have a great working relationship with Sue Poster in our chamber.
Oh,
She's our community representative, and if nothing else, Sue is part-time, and everybody needs support.
Right.
So we try to work together and partner on things, and they have a purpose. If you had Sue on a few months ago talking about the chamber, and they try to drive people to the front door of businesses, so that's one of their main goals.
All right.
The other thing, they've gotten into healthcare, so they have health insurance for businesses, small businesses.
Right.
And they do a lot of, at the larger level, they do a lot of advocacy work, where, and there, I guess you could say there's some overlap, because, when we look at it, we're looking at a bigger picture. We're looking at Westfield right now, we're going, well, how do we make this a vibrant community, or how do we ensure that? So we're looking at the chamber and we're like, we want to be supportive of you, because downtown programming and driving people to the front doors and making sure our small businesses survive is important.
Like First Fridays and things like that.
First Fridays and so on. We're talking to Andrew Webster with the rec department, because having a recreational component is important to the quality of life in Westfield. We like to talk to the library, or work with the Y, work with Rotary, whoever we can, to just make sure all these pieces are coming together. And it's not that we do it. It's quite often, sometimes we're the cheerleaders, sometimes we're just putting people together.
So it sounds to me like you're building the framework for a lot of this stuff. Like the big picture, and other people are components of that, perhaps.
Right.
Chamber of Commerce are supported by businesses. They pay dues and so forth. So who supports who supports the Westfield Development Corporation? How's that work?
Well, originally, when an executive director was first put in place, which is 1998, the businesses put some money, some of the local companies, C&E Telephone at the time, which was locally owned at the time, put some money into it, as well as the village and the town put money into it. Today, the village and town are probably the larger two components that almost equally contribute some funds to the organization.
Again, I ask these questions because I know people want to know these things, and because so is it tax dollars? Is it coming from grants? And all that sort of thing. So, next question, if I may: true or false? Towns or villages go up and down, up and down, up and down over time, or is it static? Or not static. Well, it could be static, or is it always an upward climb. I mean, I guess it's all of those maybe?
It's, yeah, I would have to say it's all of those, and it depends on the community and kind of where they're at. In Westfield, I think we're on a steady climb.
Good.
It's, as people have seen over the last 5 or 10 years, things have really gone well. The magic has worked in Westfield. Sometimes we've had to look over our shoulder and be the armchair quarterbacks and go, well, why did that work?
Well, yeah.
You know, because you will have successes, and sometimes you'll try something and you will have failures.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big thing is to try something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's if you have 2 frogs on a lily pad and one jumps off, how many frogs do you have is a question that I saw. And while that seems easy, you know, you go, well, math, you know, you have 1. It's like, well, no, the answer
One's in the
is
water.
there's 2. One's in the water because one made the decision to take an action.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we've done in Westfield. People have come up with ideas, and that's come from all over the place. The Westfield Fund, the Rotary, or somebody has come up with an idea, and then they've taken that step. And we've tried to make that environment where they can.
Okay. Westfield Development Corporation has you as an executive director, so you must have a board of directors? Or
Yes, we have.
Can you talk a little bit about your structure?
Mm-hmm. We have a 15-member board
Whoa.
of directors.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Which is just, we just recently updated that and expanded that. We redid the bylaws for the organization since I've been on board.
Mm-hmm.
And that covers a broad range of people. We have a representative from the school, we have businesses, we have entrepreneurs, we have somebody from banking, we have somebody from the village, somebody from the town, somebody from the chamber. So we try to have this diverse community base that is supporting and guiding the organization.
Where do you meet?
Right now, we've been, recently during COVID, when we got into hybrid meetings, we were meeting in the auditorium at Easton Hall because it allowed us to spread out and have a big space and also to do some Zoom components to it.
Yeah,
which
we've done the same.
It's been difficult.
Yeah.
But,
So where's your office then?
I have an office space at my home, as well as we utilize a space. Joel Seacrest has been kind enough to donate space above his office.
Oh, nice. Okay. So if someone's listening right now, we'll get this information out a little bit early here in the show. If someone's listening right now and they're interested, do you have like an office hours, or do you have a phone number to contact, or how's that work?
We have a phone number to contact. It's 326-2200, and that phone is always manned because that comes directly to me. So it's the beauty of technology.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you got 15 people. You meet periodically, and so with your bylaws and your all that stuff, what are some of your primary goals or your mission? I mean, I suspect you have that.
Well, yeah. You know, and I brought that with us because we've just updated that. You know, and really the mission of our organization is to just work with our regional partners and collaborate with them and the community to create an environment that's conducive to economic development, and, as I said, and enrich the quality of life for Westfield, because we want to be a catalyst for growth in Westfield.
You know, when you enrich the lives of Westfield, you're enriching those around you as well, I think. People from my town come to your town. People from Brockton or Portland or Chautauqua or Mayville. I mean, we don't live in islands. We actually kind of excite other people. I know, you heard me mention the Westfield Farmers Market. I love it. You know, I'll mention it every week if I can, because I just think it's that cool, that exciting, and that important to our area. I mean, forget Westfield. This is a regional deal. You know?
Yeah.
And bring attention to other places as well. But as I say, I think we all kind of help each other in some respects. All right, so do you guys have like annual goals or things you're working towards right now?
Do you know, well, we have a few things, you know, in the first 6 months, because I really haven't been executive director that long when you think about it.
6 months
It's just been since
I don't
October of
even-
2020.
Yeah.
But, you know, we focus on the organization and getting it back up to speed a little bit. We've had some open slots for membership, so we worked on that. And the mission and the bylaws, just some structural things, as you can imagine. If you
Yes,
know me,
I understand.
I'm like, you need a good foundation.
Yeah.
We've worked on business support because some of this has evolved because of COVID. So when things came out, like the restaurant revitalization funds, tried to make sure our restaurants knew how to apply for that and make sure.
So like
because
technical assistance, really.
Yeah. Well, and they are they're such an important component of who we are as a community. We want to make sure that they all survive and support them in every way that we can. We have focused on downtown revitalization. You know, Westfield has come so far in the last 10 years.
No, there's no doubt. I've seen it.
But you never rest on your laurels. You always have things to do. That's the thing about building communities and vibrant communities. The job never really ends. There's no definite end point to it.
It's sort of like a circle. You start here, and then you come all the way back around, and you monitor yourself, and then reevaluate and start all over again, right?
Right.
So when you say revitalization for your community, I mean, 10 years ago, well, let's just put it this way. Comparing my eyes only, Westfield today and 10 years ago, it's colorful, there's more green, it's the streets look different. This is just general statements. There's things happening. So what more can you do?
Well, we've seen other main streets.
Okay.
And there are always opportunities to improve. In 2005, we did a planning effort, and we had a landscape architect come in. It was the Westfield Connections Plan that connected Barcelona, which is an important asset also, as well as our downtown. The landscape architect suggested some changes to our rear parking lot, which is a little rundown at the time. He had some suggestions along Main Street, how we might do some enhancements. So coming out of COVID, I think one of the things that's important for every community to work on is making sure that you have some forward progress. You need to get your footing back, you know, from this period that we've had. And so we're looking at the parking lot project, which has been being worked on, but trying to push that forward.
Now who's driving that project? Because I go to the credit union all the time, and I can't get in there right now from the backside. But it's coming together.
But it's, yeah, and
is that a village project?
that's a village project, and our village DPF is working on that. And Ed LeBaron's head of the DPF, and he's doing a great job. And so are the guys. I mean, our DPF people are super. But sometimes, you know, it's just saying, once again, being the cheerleader, saying, we can get that done, you know, and it's an important project, and bringing that forward. The tree board, we've connected Ed
board?
and the tree board, which is a group that's going to plant 200 trees in the village of Westfield, which is a big step forward to making sure we maintain tree-lined streets in a beautiful community. But as the parking lot started to come together, we recognized that it didn't have any trees, or was going to look more like just a parking lot. So, you know, we just brought Pete and Ed together, and they did a walkthrough, and now there's locations within the parking lot structure where trees will be placed. It'll just look like a nicer lot when we get done, when visitors come to visit our downtown.
I think we talked about the tree board prior to going live on the air. So let's talk about that. I don't know anybody, any town that has a tree board. So this sounds cool. When did it start, and what's going on with it?
Well, it's a recent addition to our committee structure in the village. The village received a grant. They applied for a New York State Urban Forestry Grant and received a $50,000
Whoa.
forestry grant. One of the conditions was that you form a tree board. And so the tree board was formed, which is really a good thing because you need people on the ground that are, finding locations for all of these
Right.
trees.
And I know certain species of trees thrive better in certain conditions, I believe. So you
Right.
got to know that. So who's helping you with this?
Well, Bruce Robinson out of Jamestown is helping us with knowing what kind of trees to pick and what are the varieties and what would fit where, as far as there's large spreading trees, small trees, electric wires to worry about. There's all kinds of.
Growing up in Buffalo, I lived on a really kind of neat little street called Greenfield, and it connected Main Street and Amherst, which were two pretty significant streets in Buffalo. And you could start at the top of Amherst and drive all the way down, kind of like down this hill, and then in through the street, and it was like going through a cathedral, because it was all these arched elms and maples, and then the Dutch elm disease came and it just wiped out that whole thing, and then the whole street was like hot and dry, and before it was shady, and it was just very welcoming. So I could see where trees could really make a difference in a town or village.
Well, and through the efforts of the tree board so far, it looks like we will be working, and I think we'll be successful at obtaining a Tree City USA designation.
Wow. So
For sure.
Pete Holt, you said, is?
Yeah, Pete Holt chairs that
All right.
tree board.
So they're going to plant 200 trees between when and when?
Well, some of the trees have already been planted.
Okay.
It's a 2-year grant. And so I think they've planted around 80 or 85 trees so far.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the fall
Yeah.
is when the big planting will occur.
Okay.
And then, like I said, there'll be well over 100 trees planted this fall.
All my farmer friends say you only plant when there's a month that has an R in it. And I used to think, what? But it made sense.
Yeah.
September, November, October, March, April. R's. I used to go through the whole calendar. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess July and August don't count, or June. Don, you've got some photos. Maybe we could pop
Sure.
them here. So I'll let you direct the
I guess
that part.
what I'd like to say is some of the things. So maybe we could look at the parking lot, being that you mentioned you can't get in the credit union.
It's going to look great when it's done.
Yeah.
I can see that. So maybe, Jeff, if you can find those while we're talking here. So that's been a project that's been going on for well over a year and a half, I think now.
Yeah, it has. It's been a couple of years. They had to get the storm water
Right. Oh, there we
things
go.
put in. But here is the effort of the street department right now. They're working on the Clinton Street section.
So we're standing behind a
Behind the
bunch
credit
of
union.
shops looking out towards Clinton Street. Right?
Yes.
And there's a little island there. Now, is this true? I've been hearing this rumor. Is there going to be a drive-through for the credit union?
Yes, and that's where the ATM will
Oh,
be there.
cool. All right.
So
any idea when this will be done? Because I'm just asking for a friend.
yeah. Well, the hope is Ed's gotten it broken up because we do need to maintain some parking during the construction. This side, I know they're working on getting the base ready, and they want to get that paved with the base course first, and then we'll tackle the other side. And to me, I think the other side, they take 2 to 3 weeks at least.
Yeah.
And
Here's another view.
and that there's ultimately, I think on the next couple of slides, what we'll see is the sketch drawings that give you an idea of, we know what goal we're working towards.
Okay.
We're adding pedestrian walkways, we're adding,
Oh, there we go.
light post, we're
Now,
adding
this is for the back?
plantings.
This is the parking lot?
Yeah, this is actually in the area of the credit union
Oh my gosh.
right now.
All right,
So
for those of you who are listening to the radio, on the radio, we'll describe this a little bit. I'm looking at a nice walkway and some lights and trees.
yes.
Wow. Before this, it was kind of like broken up gravel and
Right.
asphalt, and kind of nasty looking. Now there's really nice defined sidewalks and things like that, right? Drains
Right.
and things. Very nice.
So, that's.
Oh, there you go.
And this is the overall plan that was originally sketched out to lay out the number of parking spaces and how we would arrange it.
So you have the
anyways.
main parking lot, and then there's a side parking lot over towards Market Street, right? Is that what I'm looking at?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's the Clinton Street side of it and the Market Street side of it.
I know
But-
lately it's been kind of an interesting challenge to figure out where to exactly to park before they, tore it all up now, because it's like, well, do I park here?
Yeah.
So hopefully, I see there's stripes there, and
Well,
that'll
there'll
be
be
terrific.
there'll be stripes. There'll be small islands that'll make it easier to tell where to park.
Good.
So, anyways, but Doc, that's just an example of how you continue to try to move the ball forward,
Yeah.
move the community forward, always improve on yourself. We do have a vision in mind that these are important things. We're hoping that there'll be more rear storefront access like you have with the credit union and several of the other stores. So
Very nice.
we think that's just an important
Yeah. So
first step.
So you don't have to go all the way around. Oh, there's another one. Now, where's this
Now,
going to be?
this is Moore Park.
Yeah.
So this is a sketch that was done for the front of Moore Park. We did put in the stamped concrete bricks a number of years ago, but what we're working on right now is raising the bar a little bit. Moore Park is a beautiful park, but we really do think a couple of wrought iron fence sections,
Dressed up a bit.
as well as plantings. And we just had a meeting with the landscape architect that we've hired another one, because while we have an image, it was like, okay, I'm not enough of a gardener to know how to translate that image into reality. So we did hire a landscape architect to work with us to do some of that, as well as bench placements along Main Street.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one.
Yeah. Well, this is
That's
the
where we're
same
at.
same area,
Yeah.
but that goes with the.
Right, I saw the clock there, the clock tower, whatever you want to call that, and I know our club, our Rotary Club, helped donate to that thing. Yeah, that's going to be a real pretty area if you can continue to dress. It's pretty down. All right, now what's with this bag on this
Oh
tree?
well,
What is that all
actually this tree is a ginkgo tree,
A ginkgo.
and we had a bunch of calorie pear trees, but they had a lifespan of around 14 years, and they were beginning to decline. So being that we had the tree grant and money to do this, we decided with working with the forester to remove all of the trees that we had, and we've replaced these with the ginkgos. And the bag is a watering bag
Okay.
to make sure that the tree has enough water, although in the last week we've had plenty. But that's another step, and this is the landscape architect who we're working with out of the Niagara Falls area. She came down and she was grabbing visitors to the community that were shopping and asking their opinion
Very nice.
on bench placement and where they would want things.
Don, we're down to the last minute.
Okay.
I know, it seems hard to believe. We've been talking this whole time, but what would you like to leave the listeners and audience right now with any thoughts or comments or contact information, anything you want?
Well, I would say that we've just barely scratched on Westfield and what I think what a great community it is. I personally owe so much to the community and many of the people in it. Some that haven't been there, but our number is 326-2200. We still have a few open storefronts. We have a lot of new businesses where there's a new one opening today.
Who's that?
It's called California Dreaming. It's Robert Rios over on Market Street.
know Robert.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've got Rosie's Workshop on Main Street. With the Key Bank is getting office spaces
Great.
put into it. So we're really excited about the things that we're managing to do. We want to translate that to other communities, always willing to share.
Excellent.
But that's where we are.
Okay. Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and my guest today has been my friend Don McCord, who's the Executive Director of the Westfield Development Corporation. Things are happening just down the road, so check them out and pick their brains. I'm sure they'll be willing to share. We're going to do this all again next week, right here on Channel 1301, Access Chautauqua. I hope you've been enjoying the show, and Don, thanks for coming by. But we're going to get part 2 to this.
Definitely.
We just got started. All right, enjoy the sunshine when you can, and the water's good for the garden, I guess. Hang in there, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.